What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, holy smokes. The NFL season just seems to be flying by. We are already heading into week 8, and this is going to be I guess you could say, an epic matchup, especially with the way both teams have been playing as of late. We are going to be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the New York Football Giants in Arrowhead on Monday Night Football. It's starting to get crisp. It's starting to get cooler. It's going to be awesome football weather. The crowd hopefully is there, ready to rock and roll. This is a big game, honestly, for the Kansas City Chiefs after coming off just an atrocious performance, really just a complete embarrassment. Lack of preparation was just not there. They legitimately got skull drug. I mean, that's the best way to say it. I mean, they got beat in every facet of the game. They looked like the team that just wasn't ready or wanting to be there. Patrick Mahomes has not looked like himself. And unfortunately, this team just got demolished in the first half. And again, in every facet. So we're looking to rebound. We're looking to, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan base and as a team and as an organization, looking to go 4-4. This ship has to start getting turned around, ladies and gentlemen, or it's almost like you're going to get too far behind in the AFC, and it's just going to be that much more difficult to even come back. I mean, it truly is, and that's crazy to think because of how lethal this offense was. I don't know if we can get back there. I mean, they are ranked pretty highly still in a lot of categories. Mahomes has turned over the football at an astronomical rate. This team is leading the NFL in turnovers. Patrick Mahomes, back to him. He's on pace to throw more interceptions than he has in a single season. His year in which he threw 50 touchdowns, won an MVP. I believe he threw 12 interceptions. Right now, currently, going into week 8, he has 9. He has 4 fumbles. It's just incredible to see, kind of what's going on. Whether that's meshing with the offensive line and really kind of understanding, your new offensive tackles, your left tackle, your right tackle, how they play. I mean, Mike Remmers isn't a new addition. The center of the offensive line has been performing very well. I mean, Creed Humphrey is on pace to be an all-pro. Trey Smith is really just a phenomenal find in the draft. A lot of people knew about him. They just didn't know about his health. And the signing of Joe Thuney, a lot of people say they overpaid for a position at left guard. That isn't necessarily important. I believe anything is extremely important when you're protecting a quarterback worth the amount of money that Patrick Mahomes is worth. Now, my thing that I think the Kansas City Chiefs really need to establish and get back into and continue doing is running the football. A lot of these teams that they've been facing have really been doing 2-zone, 2 safeties over the top, and, that really kind of opens that center of that field. Start running the football. Force those teams to not cheat the pass, and really kind of start utilizing the run game with Darrell the Barrel Williams. Get him back to what he's doing. We know Clyde's on the IR dealing with his knee issue. Jerick McKinnon is easily a good number 2. And if not, you got some other options there. I mean, Gore is not a bad option. They need to do that in order to really start opening this pass game. Get back into control on the offensive side. We understand the defense is not that good, but there has been some very good flashes. Some of the specifics, Nick Bolton, currently almost in the top 10 for total tackles as a rookie, ladies and gentlemen. That's incredible. And there's still so much progressions that can be made. Start to see better coverage. But the man plays downhill. He's tied for first in the NFL with tackles for a loss. I mean, he was in the backfield taking care of Derrick Henry last week. And I think that's what's most impressive for me is the numerous times you saw him back there taking Derrick Henry down for a tackle for a loss and really kind of getting to Derrick Henry, even though, I mean, the guy still almost rushed for 100 yards and threw for a pass, a touchdown. So it's incredible to see Nick Bolton play in his element. I mean, it really is. Willie Gay coming around, starting to get more consistent out there. There's just some things that still need to improve, obviously. The defensive line is not applying any pressure. And if you want to say that someone is, it would be Mike Dana. Chris Jones has been non-existent since he's been kicked out to D end. He had 2 sacks very early on in the very first game. Since then, we've not heard Chris Jones make any type of headline of any sort other than being on the injured list. There's just been a lot of really disappointment on the defensive side of the football. One that I definitely thought going into the season could easily be probably top 15, just with what they were putting out there. Now we're talking about pieces that we can add it before the trade deadline, things like that. So there's just a lot that is really kind of up in the air on this defense. Spagnuolo obviously is a huge question mark. Does he get retained next year? Is it even worth retaining him next year? Or should we start fresh and put somebody else out there? All this is obviously going to be in future videos, but man, it was just my opportunity to really vent and kind of talk about where we're at currently in the season and, kind of what we experienced in this last game leading into really I guess you could say, a hyped up New York Giants football team. I mean, they're coming off their first win. Daniel Jones is looking like former Odell Beckham Jr. out there catching one-handed catches. I'm going to go over the injuries, but they're going to be without some key players. But I don't want to necessarily say that that's really a big deal because a lot of the teams the Kansas City Chiefs have played this season, specifically last week with the Tennessee Titans, were missing some tremendous pieces from their secondary. And you can go down the list of the teams we've played that have been missing players, and it just seems like it is ineffective to the Kansas City Chiefs. There are some very key players that could force the hand against the Kansas City Chiefs that are injured, and we're going to dive into that right now. So the first one up is going to be Danny Shelton, defensive tackle. He is listed as questionable. The next one is Jabril Peppers, and I saw this come out yesterday, I believe. It said Jabril Peppers is being placed on the injured reserve. Right here it says Peppers ankle/knee. I do believe he ruptured. Yes, he did. Injured reserve Tuesday after suffering a ruptured ACL in his right knee, ending his season. And then he also messed up his ankle in that same incident. I do think that came on their last game. The next one that is questionable and that came out today is going to be Kenny Golladay. Galladay's knee is dressed for Wednesday. He dressed for Wednesday's practice and going through stretches. So it sounds like he's pretty questionable. I mean, like that's obviously the designation. Kadarius Toney, who I really hoped the Kansas City Chiefs would have taken in this last draft. Obviously, he finds his way from Florida to the New York Giants. He is questionable with an ankle, but he did dress for practice on Wednesday and did go through stretches with his teammates. And again, this is Wednesday going into Thursday. Saquon Barkley, I did see there is a chance that he's probably going to be out until week 9. So not having that clutch, really good running back for Daniel Jones to kind of rely on with a defense that struggles against the run outside of Nick Bolton. This will be interesting to see if Saquon's out. And if so, then that kind of alleviates some of that. Sterling Shepard, a huge receiver for this team outside of Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney. Sterling Shepard is dealing with a hamstring injury. He did dress and was going through stretches as well. So a lot of these probably are limited participants. Evan Ingram was questionable, undisclosed, not practicing. So something's going on with Evan Ingram. Probably one of the only non-participants outside of Jabril Peppers, and probably, Jabril Peppers would be the only other one. So with the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm seeing Michael Burton, and then the other one was Anthony Hitchens. So 2 guys that I've really kind of been paying attention to. But yet again, you're seeing some of our young core linebackers step up and really play and take over the role for Anthony Hitchens. So if he does need to sit out another week, this would be a perfect time to sit out against the New York Giants. Let those young guys get in there, fly around, and continue to learn this defense and learn to play in the NFL. And I think that's more important than anything. And then obviously Michael Burton's specifically probably special teams. Here and there you see him on the offense, but that's a very minimum amount of time. So, going into this game, I really expect the Kansas City Chiefs to kind of establish some dominance. But I've kind of said that in a lot of these games. I would hope that they can find a way to beat the Giants, who play in the NFC East, who really have had a struggling season, just a struggling offensive line. On paper, this team really does have a lot, very similar to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, if you look at this offense, Kenny Galladay, Saquon Barkley, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, I mean, that right there is a pretty solid offense. Daniel Jones hasn't been playing the worst. And then Evan Ingram as a tight end, backed by Kyle Rudolph. So they really do have some pieces on the paper. Their defense isn't, just awful. I would say the Kansas City Chiefs currently statistically are way worse. And so there are some things that are positive about the New York Giants. It just seems that they just can't click. They can't beat the teams, when the situations arise. They always seem to be on the opposite end, the losing end, and it's just unfortunate sometimes. That's how football goes. This would be a good Kickstarter for the Kansas City Chiefs to really kind of start to prove and get back to a routine powerhouse offense, showing at least some stops, getting some 3 and outs on this defense, and heading into a game following that would be the Green Bay Packers. We're about to go on a stretch here for the Kansas City Chiefs that is about to be very, very tough. And so it would be nice to just kind of get a rebound. Luckily, this is a Monday night football game, so we'll have all day to watch football, kind of get settled in on Sunday. Watch Sunday night football, still trying to take a breather, and then head into this Monday night football game. I'm excited. I really am. I always get hyped up for the Chiefs. I always get hyped up for football, anyways. But this is a game that I wanted to actually watch, anyways. I believe there's a lot of good things that are coming out of New York, and hopefully their head coach can continue to stay and gear the path the way he wants to, and just continue to put pieces in there. The Chiefs just, again, need to really kind of just establish a game plan, focus on the game plan, hit it, and then go win this football game. And that's what I plan on seeing. So really, that's kind of the recap. I'm not going to give a final score just because, man, it's just been so tough as of late because the Chiefs have just had a struggling. It's just like they're struggling in every facet. And it's just unfortunate that that's the case, especially with a team that really didn't have a lot of turnover. And a lot of pieces were put in place to really kind of solidify some of those small turnovers that happen. And it's just not clicking for whatever reason. So maybe this is a game they find out and they can click and get things rolling. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end this. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. Again, I appreciate you guys. The support has been phenomenal on this. I can't thank you guys enough for everything you guys do. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. There's going to be a lot more content coming out as the season continues to progress. And I kind of been getting into a gear of things. I've kind of figured out my schedule. So we're going to be getting some things definitely rolling on the channel again. I do, again, appreciate all the support. Make sure you guys hit the comment section. And as always, appreciate checking out the Beat of KC. Have a good day.